East. All right. Inserata says, I learned a lot about nutrition that caused me issues my first year. Let's be a little bit more specific, Inserata. You've been around the block now for a minute. You've been on my lives forever and a day. I love your support. Couldn't thank you enough. Let's get into specifics. Let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get these young people or new people watching us. Let's give them a little insight. Yes, enjoyed that NWA live last Tuesday. Good deal, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so look, let me just say this. I was in my home state of Florida. Actually, Texas is my home state, in my original home state of Florida. And, I went over there, and it was kind of like a bittersweet type of scenario. Hung out with my family. You know how that is. My mom was there, took my niece to Epcot Center. We had a ball, man. I'm not going to lie. But there's also some other things I had to tend to while I was there. And unfortunately, I couldn't go on live. I'm sure you guys could understand. Davidson K9 says, Whelping box is 100% necessary. Okay. So give me a little something more, Davidson. Why is it 100% necessary? Give me a little insight. How did you find that out? Did you, I don't know, not have a whelping box? Did you just let them female get a corner of a room or something? Give me a little bit more insight. Tricon Bully says, I've learned with 90% of pockets are just cousins. Nobody has that many outcrosses or real foundation bloodline that nobody else has like that. Wow. You see, this is a comment right here. This is deep. This is deep. And you know what? Until just a little over a year ago, I take it back. I had Daisy Duke. So you could go back maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago. I never had a pocket in my camp. So hearing this, believe it or not, it goes both ways. Guys, I've never professed to say I know everything. What I have professed is my experience. I'm going to share it with you. And if you notice, Tricon Bullies is doing exactly that. That's what tonight is about. So we can help the new guy or even educate the old guy like me about anything. And in this case, he's talking about pockets, man. So I appreciate it, Tricon. Sebastian Cruz says, what's the best way to get rid of ear mites? Ear mites. Wow. Man, it's funny. I just dropped a short and a video talking about yeast infection in the ears. In fact, I'm going to give you guys a little insight that you guys already know if you watch my video. But nonetheless, Lotrimin is my go-to, right? If my natural anti-yeast is not working, I'm going to go to this. And this stuff, okay, clotrimazole. Let me see if y'all can see it without it blurring too much. Maybe not. Anyways, it's called clotrimazole. And this stuff, vets, they prescribe it left and right. Now, what's the difference between this, in my opinion, and what they're prescribing? This is going to run you about $17. What they're prescribing is going to run you about $80. And this right here will easily last me a year to a year and a half. The amounts that I put in my dog ear, if I'm going to use it, is going to be just a piece worth. The way we do it is we actually clean our dog's ear with natural solutions that we make. Basic water. One of them is oregano. The other one's lemon. The other one, chamomile, and also green tea. And with that, we go ahead and clean the inside of the ears, make sure everything is nice and dry. Once we know everything is nice and dry, then we'll just get a little pea-sized worth, put in one ear, put in the other, rub it in there, and repeat once a week. If it's really that bad, you might do it twice a week. So Sebastian Cruz, this is obviously for fungus. Or yeast. For mites, man, I've never had mites, so I can't sit in the ear. So I can't really sit here try to act like, I know it all, because I don't. But more likely than not, I would probably research my oregano spray or chamomile or green tea, because they have antibacterial and antifungal properties, and a lot of times that will afflict. Also, maybe even making a garlic tea. Yes, garlic. It's anti-parasitic, man. So I would probably look into going in that direction. You're gonna have to research that one. Freddie Streamer says, "What's up, Bully fam?" Oh, something else I have used on occasions, and I'm going to tell you why on occasions here in a second. It's also Desenex. Yeah, the foot spray, right? Antifungal foot spray. Well, guess what the main ingredient is? Meconazole, right? Which is another antifungal ingredient. And the beauty of this is you can actually do this, put it on the dog. I had to use it years ago. I want to say about 7 years ago. I had a dog that was getting ringworm. And I ended up putting this on him just out of so many things that we were trying at the time. And 3 days later, all of a sudden, there's no ringworms anywhere. Then my biggest problem was I had tried so many different things that I didn't know that this was the thing that was doing it until I had to do the process of elimination. I have another product I'm going to show you guys here in a second that can also be used. We got Moises. Sup, bro? Nothing much. Fredia, I didn't mean to skip your comment. What's up, Bully fam? Happy Friday, guys. Hope all is well, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Dracula Kennel, UK, Romania, in the his eye. All right, Adam Fields cracking up. Moy says, Stab Junior Oliveira New York Bronx in the house. All right. Guys, K9, what's up, fam? Finally made it on time. There you go, man. Malachi, Hector. All right. Phoenix, Arizona, in Saratha. We got Jaira Grimm saying, what's up? Tell you what, whoever drops the most in-depth comment tonight of what we should have known then that we know now, I'm going to give you a free spin on that wheel. And you might just, if the wheel is nice to you, you might end up with some Nuvet NuJoint DS free on the house. All right. So drop those comments, man. Let's make this one count tonight. We got Butter and family from Kansas. We got He Going to Sunshine, says Jaira Graham. Oh, Jaira Graham. Jaira Graham. Yeah. All right, Jaira. All right, guys, K9 says first litter I've ever had was in a blue pool. The funny thing, guys, K9, is when I do breedings, I use the blue kiddie pools, the big ones. In fact, I use 3 of them, right? I have 2 outside that are clean and already sun-dried and the whole shebang bang, ready to go. And I got the ones where the dogs are with the female is with the puppies. So if she lets out too much, out the rear, they get rid of the meconium and all that, or it just gets a little too sloppy, or you have females a little bit too lazy or whatever, then it's just too simple to just switch it out. We have this little box where we have a nice towel, and underneath the towel, we have a heating pad. We get it nice and warm. We put the puppies there. We take it out. Mom follows wherever the puppies are. We take out the pool. Literally, it's a 1-minute procedure, the whole thing. So I just throw it out there because I know a lot of people will get this nice whelping box, and there's nothing wrong with that, and set it up, and you have blankets and this, that, and the third, and it all gets pretty much dirty. So just throwing that out there for you. Israel says, my girl Nimbus had allergies to her kibble as a pup. The vet recommended Hillside's diet that he sold did not help. Then he told me to put her on chicken and rice, and she got hives. There you go. There you go. First make the sale, and then, I don't know. D. Taylor says how important nutrition is, how important supplements are, how important it is to have like-minded, interested people, to love your dog, not love money and breed issues, how important vinegar is and its uses. Wow, that's deep. It's deep. I mean, nutrition is so powerful. It is so powerful. I don't care if your dog, if you need your dog to gain muscle. I don't care if you have a puppy. I don't care if you have an older dog. I don't care if you have a female coming in heat. Nutrition is going to be crucial in any type of life, in any life stage that the dog is in. And a lot of the problems that are caused, we cause it without knowing a lot of times because of the foods that we're feeding and the things that are in those foods that are actually causing allergies, gout in dogs. What? Gout? Yep. Bladder stones, tumors, cancer. Yeah, man. Yeah, it gets ugly fast. Moises Stab Jr. says, how to get rid of bad breath on dogs. There you go, man. A little cilantro, dipped in a little coconut oil, never hurt anybody, right? Dracula Kennel says, I lost my female last week after the breeding. Wow. I am sorry to hear that, Dracula Kennel. Man, I know what it's like to lose a dog, and it's never good, regardless what the circumstance is, man. So my heart goes out to you, bro. Seaton 146. What's the recommended age to breed your female for the first time? So Seaton, I'm glad you brought up that question, because I'm going to say something tonight. And, here's the thing, guys. This is a process of evolution when you're a breeder. When you first start, a lot of these things that you're hearing now for the first time, it takes time for them to sink in. But eventually when they sink in, you understand the whys and the twos, right? You start connecting the dots. So I'm going to say this. When I first started breeding, I was breeding my females at 1.5 years. No issues, man. I would say it was a good 80 to 90% rate. Out of 10 females I would breed, 8 or 9 would get pregnant by their second heat, right? With time, I decided I want to change this up and I want to make it 2 years. Because I did have 2 females that were immature, okay, both physically because they weren't producing milk, and mentally. One of them, after she had the pups, looked at me like, what do we do now? Right? She just wasn't ready up there. And so I decided, look, I'm going to go ahead and only breed once the females hit 2 years old. Then I was having a conversation today with Money Mike. He's my co-host. He comes on live every Monday. He just dropped a litter, Creek Bank Kennels. If you don't know, you need to check it out, right? The People's Litter, nothing but love. He's actually setting up a litter for the late Trayvon Mobley and his family. Long story short, I was talking to him and I said, Mike, for the last 3 years, I've been having a little bit of issues with my females getting pregnant and whatnot. And I'm wondering if it has more to do with the fact that wolves out in the wild, right? So when wolves are out in the wild, and I'm not going to draw, I'm just going to put letters so you can understand. Alpha male will breed to alpha female, right? And then you're going to have several beta females, right? And I'm drawing this out so you guys can understand me a little better. So in this made up scenario of mine, we're going to have 1 alpha male, 1 alpha female, and 4 beta females, right? So what ends up happening is, hold on, my bad, they're over here on this side. What ends up happening is only the alpha female and the alpha male are going to breed. So what are these beta females for, you would think? Well, the beta females, what happens is they're all going to go into a false pregnancy, right? Listen to this, how nature works. They're all going to go into a false pregnancy, and in doing so, they're going to produce milk. Listen to this, right? So all these betas, they're going to go into a false pregnancy and they're going to produce milk. Why? Once this alpha female gives birth, she Yeah, maybe not right away, but sooner or later, she's going to have to go and feed, right? She's going to have to go, not necessarily make the kill, but definitely go out there and feed. And while she's doing so, these beta females, every single one of them, becomes a surrogate mother to those puppies, right? So what ends up happening is these beta females are constantly triggering each other to go and heat and whatnot. Long story short, it is my, how do I say that? Suspicion. That's the best way to say it. It is my suspicion that once 2 years have gone by and they haven't been impregnated, it becomes a little bit more difficult because their bodies, got to keep in mind, the whole heat cycle and everything is completely hormonal. Their bodies may have gotten used to, oh, this is going to be another false pregnancy. Again, guys, I can't say it 100% for sure, but I will say I've been having a harder time with females getting pregnant at 2 years of age and forward than I ever did at 1.5. It just is what it is. So I'm just sharing that with you. Don Williams DuPont, is it gyno-lotrimin? No, it's not gyno-lotrimin, which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if it worked. But if you notice, here it is. I don't know if y'all can read it, but it says Lotrimin AF, right? Which is for athlete's foot. I'm sorry, antifungal. My apologies. Is for antifungal, but no, I didn't get it specifically for that. Christina Higginson, hello, sir. Happy Friday, Miss Christina Higginson. Thank you for joining us. Nothing but love. This is Mike Higginson's lovely wife, and I'm sure she's helping him out with the pups right now. Adam Field says, I can attest to it working and being way cheaper than the one the vets prescribe. Same ingredients. Yeah, clotrimazole is going to be clotrimazole is going to be clotrimazole. And Sarata says, oh, so sorry for your loss, Dracula. That's so sad. Yeah. V. Ferreira showing appreciation by hitting that. Oh, look, V, I was trying to show off, man, and I just killed it, man. I just killed it. Let me do this. Yeah, right here. Like, and subscribe right there. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love. Thank you, V. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to the next comment over here. We got EJ saying, I'm sorry to hear Dracula, prayers. Thank you. All right, man. My dog is losing a lot of fur and having skin issues. Okay. But what do you know now that you wish you knew then when you first stepped into owning dogs or breeding? Happy Friday. Hello, family. You got it. Adam Fields, Romania in the house. What's up, Dracula Kennel? Sean Wheeler, I took Rip to the vet this week. He was 100% healthy. They charged me $450, and I asked why so much. And they said because he's a big dog. All right. That's wow. Here's the thing, man. And you know, let me tell you all this. I didn't know this until I became a nurse. But, you know, it is my opinion that the majority of the doctors I came across while I was a nurse had alternative motives in order of priority before the patient's health. Let me give you an example. If you're a practicing physician, one of the things you have to worry about, I guess, you know, you're a doctor and lawsuits, right? So they would, in my opinion, prioritize not getting sued, right? And then the next thing in priority is how to get paid. And then we're getting to the health part. Well, it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that vets do pretty much the same thing because they're human beings at the end of the day, guys. Malachi says, Tricon, I believe there has been a consistent winning formula with pockets. You will see the same dogs in champions and grand champions. Should there be more outcross if the outcome is consistent, says Malachi? Okay, Tricon, you're getting challenged. Carmel and Cheek, Raul, you're the man. Hey, I'm the man after you, man. Number love. Chaparro Luz, we always appreciate your information videos from Florida. There you go. The big F, man. Number love. Christian, I always Christian Irajeta. Sorry, bro. What's up, guys? Nothing but love, bro. Michael Higgins said, what's up, my brother? Been a long few days for us over here at Creek Bank Kennels. I know, man. When I talked to you today, you sounded like you were recovering, but what was it, a night ago or 2 nights ago? It sounded, man, like you had just ran a marathon. Martin Garcia, my dog had GI surgery and popped a stitch. They gave me mupirocin ointment, which worked great for healing open wounds, I guess. Any alternatives to keep on hand just in case? Martin Garcia, I don't know so much as far as such an open wound, okay, but I will share this with you. One of the things we have used that is completely natural and it really helps with wounds, like, and I'm not talking about like, you know, your dog got sliced by a surgeon. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, your dog got a little cut or something, maybe even a little deeper than a little cut, but no more than that. Is guava leaves. Guava leaves are super powerful antibacterial, antifungal. Literally, you know, we'll rub it up on there. Then I'll come with my guava leaf spray, of course, and we're going to spray it on there. And I mean, within a couple of days, it's gone. Also, dogs have tremendous healing powers. I mean, I'm sure we can all attest to that. The other thing, too, is Cuban oregano leaves. Yeah, and I say Cuban oregano because I don't think you're supposed to eat that stuff. That's how powerful it is. It's really powerful. Again, everything I say is what I use in my yard. You definitely want to do the research. And obviously, if your dog shows any type of allergies to anything anybody shares, stop immediately, obviously, because dogs can be allergic to just about anything. Ray Cabatuando, can you show the cream again for yeast infection? Yes. Lotrimin. Lotrimin. Yes, sir. AF. Let me let it zoom in a little bit. There you go. Lotrimin AF, clotrimazole cream, antifungal. It's only 1%. That's all you need. And the amount I put in my dog ears is literally a pea size worth. If it's a bigger dog, like 100, 120 pound dog, I might put 2, you know, all depending. But also before you put this in the ear, you got to clean what's in there out. Otherwise, you're not going to do nothing. Okay. So that's why I suggest you guys go to my channel. My latest video shows you how we clean it in there and how we put the ointment in. You can't just put it at the very top of the ear. You got to go in deep and you got to massage it, right? So there you have it, man. Leocadio Vasquez, what's good, fam? From Fresno Bulldogs. What's up, man? Adam Fields says, Creek Bank Kennel, what's up? Not below. Malachi, Michael, puppies looking cute as ever. Yes, they are. Christian Irajeta, that's what I have to a blue kiddie pool. Only thing is what bedding recommended for a whelping area. So on the kiddie pool, right, you don't want that slippery slide going on. Excuse me, because puppies are pushing off their back legs, and if it continues to slide, it could end up causing hip dysplasia. There is a difference of opinion in the veterinary industry. It's more like 70-30, not 50-50. And it's never going to be 50-50 because these guys, they go to veterinary school and they don't realize until maybe after that, like big pharma, such a big and rich industry that they may donate a library to the school. In return, they want you to use these particular books in your curriculum. And, what do you think the book is going to be teaching? You think the book's going to be teaching you that garlic is anti-parasitic, antiviral, antibacterial, and it's good for dogs? No. And definitely don't feed raw either, right? So you can understand why there is a division, and also naturally there's going to be a division in opinion. But some veterinarians, I would say about 30% of them, believe that hip dysplasia is not genetic and is caused because of the environment. So if you have them on a slippery surface, you may end up causing this, right? So what I do is I get a little rubber mat that I buy over here at the dollar store. I throw it up in there. I make sure that my dog's being supervised, because she may want to go gnaw on it. So you got to scold her a time or two just for her not to do it. And then once that's done, she won't go at it again. And then the puppies now have grip, right, to push off their back legs and whatnot and not cause hip dysplasia. So Davidson K9 says, I wish we knew to let some females relax with the pups for a couple days so she doesn't stress out and do something negative to the pups. Huh? What do you mean? You should have the puppies with the mama. That is, unless mom is showing, tendencies. I will say I have been asked, right? So here, let's do another little drawing here. So there's this hormone that's called oxytocin, right? Oxytocin, right? And what that hormone does is, first of all, and please don't make fun of my drawing, it's going to make the uterus, and I'll write uterus so you know what I'm talking about. It'll make the uterus contract, right? It'll make the uterus contract. That's the first thing that oxytocin does. So once oxytocin is released, the uterus is going to begin contraction. Then, once the first puppy comes out, and I'm going to draw a nipple here, right? Once the first puppy comes out, and they start suckling, what's going to happen is there's going to be a release, right? This is a nipple. I know my drawing's horrible. That's a nipple. And when the puppy, starts chewing off of that, it's going to make her release oxytocin, right? Which is going to cause more contractions. And that's how all of a sudden, she was in active labor for 12 hours and didn't give birth. And now she's popping them out every half hour. This is part of the process, right? But oxytocin, all right, oxytocin also creates, well, man, that's the worst looking heart I've ever done in my life. There you go. Right? Also creates bonding between the mama dog and the puppies. Sorry for my heart, guys. Right? Bonding for the puppies. So now that you understand everything I just told you, now let me explain to you what happens when you take mama dog, right? You take mama dog and let me do a better drawing. And they open her up and they take the puppies out, right? I'm just going to do this and just put little balls for the puppies, man, because my drawing is horrible. So you take mama dog in, obviously they're gonna cut her up, and then they're gonna take the puppies out, right? Right. So did mama dog get to release all that oxytocin? No, she didn't release the oxytocin. So what happens is, because oxytocin is the bonding hormone or the love hormone, she is initially not going to have it. Sorry, this thing stopped drawing on me. All right, so she's initially not going to have it. So when she initially doesn't have it, it's going to take a minute for that thing to kick in. You better supervise her around those puppies because she's going to be in extreme pain. And she might bite a pup. So that's when I've seen mama dogs want to do something silly. And it's not even their fault. They're coming out of anesthesia. They're not thinking straight. They don't have the hormones they need to have. And there's not a bonding effect between them and the pups. And a puppy may get bit. This is why it's important that you're there with her for at least 12 hours post-surgery. Right? Make sure everything is going how it's supposed to be going. All right. Anthony McCausland, the kibble is way too expensive for what it is. Absolutely. Even if they were selling it for $1. Queen's New Blood. All right, Queen's New Blood. Yo, you got it. Okay. Females. Okay. Christian Nidaheta, correction, is betting recommended? I believe I already answered that with a rubber mat. K. Senior Williams, what about kennel cough? Well, listen, I've had kennel cough in my yard, and it spreads like wildfire. All it takes is for you to take a dog to your vet, and obviously sick dogs go there, and your dog picks it up, brings it back, and spreads it. Now, I've had all my dogs get the kennel cough shot, which, again, it's like a dart in the wind, right? I guess there's different versions of it as far as the affecting pathogen, and so you're getting a shot for the most common ones, and then my dogs get afflicted with the least, right? But long story short, the beauty of kennel cough is as fast as it comes in, I've experienced, it goes right back out. That's what I've noticed. I've had it where I've had a dog come here, and within 2 days, la-di-da-di, everybody's coughing. And I'm like, oh my God, right? I will say this. If you have a dog, if I have to take a dog to the vet, for example, and we just literally bred Ali 2 days ago, I will not, under any circumstance, have that dog near her. So if she's in the kennel area, that dog's going to be in the house. If she's going to be in the house, then that dog needs to go to the kennel area. I will not put him anywhere near, because that thing will spread and it can affect so many different things. Adam Fields, Anthony McCausland says, my question, Anthony, you need to put it all together for me. Adam Fields, nutrition and environment. All right. Let me see. What can you feed your dog for bad breath? Cilantro. A little coconut oil and cilantro. Make sure you heat the coconut oil. Not too hot. Just enough to put it on there. And put it on there. There's so many different things that can cause bad breath for a dog. So if your dog has tartar buildup because you've been feeding kibble, yeah, you might want to put them on raw so the chicken bones and the chicken quarters could actually start doing the scratching action for you and start clearing a lot of that stuff for you. The other thing that we do for that one of the reasons our dogs don't have bad breath, I mean, we do all those things. But the other reason is NuVet NuJoint DS. Green bottles, multivitamin, blue bottle is joint support. Keep in mind, our ordering code is 513237. You get 13% off with AutoShip. The beauty about NuVet NuJoint DS, guys, look, it has everything your dog needs. Vitamin A, E, C, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, calcium, selenium. It has a bunch of other stuff here. Like here, let me shoot it at you. Vitamin B3, B12, vitamin D, vitamin K, magnesium, iron, copper, amino acids. I mean, it has everything your dog needs. The beauty of this is once you start giving it, you're going to start noticing the dogs absorbing more of the foods that you're already feeding. Why is that important, Raul? Well, if your dog starts consuming 10% more of the food you're feeding, you can literally lower that. And if you do the numbers for the year, you're going to realize it saves you money as far as what you're feeding. So I know a lot of you are feeding that cheap kibble bag, right? So let me show you something. Maybe not the cheapest one, but one of the cheaper or higher up than the cheaper. So let's call it $50, right? Let's call it $50. $50 bag of kibble, right? And your dog goes through that bag of kibble, goes through one bag a week. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 50 by 52. So we're going to do the math here for you, and you'll see what I'm going to be talking about. So we got 50 times 52, and we're going to use our handy dandy calculator because my memory's full. So 50 times 52, it's a total of $2,600 a year you're spending on trash, pure trash. And that's what I think kibble is. That's just my opinion. So think about this for a minute. If NuVet is helping you consume 10% more of what you're already feeding, that means it's going to save you. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Let me go to another one. It's going to save you $260 a year. Okay, this one works even worse. All right, let's go back here. Oh boy. Just when you're trying to explain something, these things happen, right? So there we go. $260 a year. This is what you're saving, right? $260 a year per dog, right? That's not shabby if you really think about it, because NuVet comes in 90-day supply. If you notice, it's got 90 chewable wafers, and NuJoint DS has 120 chewable wafers and is weight-based. I tell people to get 2 of these and 1 of these so that your dog is covered for 90 days. Now, here's the kicker. How much do those 2 things together cost? They cost about $1.60, right? So at the end of the year, you're looking at roughly, what's $1.60? $1.60 times 365. So you're looking at $584, and you offset that price by the amount of food that your dog's going to be that 10% more that they're going to be absorbing. And so we're going to go ahead and subtract the 260 from that 584, and it comes out to 324. You divide that by 365 days in a year, and you're looking at 88 cents a day. That's not shabby at all, man. And it guarantees your dog has the vitamins, minerals, balances them out. This way, they don't have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So just keep that in mind. Also, NuJoint DS, the blue bottle, is going to help with joint support. Christina Higginson says, if I have a comment, Raul Fagundes, of what we know now, we didn't know then. Having a new litter really is like having a newborn baby. Absolutely. From the delivery to the first days home as new parents. I couldn't agree with you more. Also with, being hyper vigilant and, just being on top of them. Lack of sleep, the whole 9. Tricon Bully says, for new people, I would tell them focus on making their own bloodline by breeding pockets and or even micro to create a new lane, then breed well-known blood that healthy, that they like, then build off of it. That's healthy, I guess. Yeah, that's why I talk about genetic testing as much as I do. Irregardless whether we like it or not, we're all breeding communities are slowly heading in that direction. I give it about a couple years before everybody has to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to sell a dog. Queen's New Blood says, my bad, I don't breed till a year and a half, 2 or 2 years old. Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe waiting a little too long may cause a couple of complications, is what I'm starting to believe. Kel says, I think we change it up a bit. These are your common topics. Outside of all this, heat and feet, scarring and oxygen, and or frozen feet, healing. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what your question is. I guess if your dogs have been outside and either too much heat and scarring and all that, and they got frozen feet, taking a dog out in too cold of weather when they're going to be walking on snow, make sure you get doggy boots, man.